Back to the polls. Voters in Broadmeadows choose their new state MP. No let-up in the unrest sweeping across the Middle East. Third time unlucky, the people of Carnarvon coping with yet another flood. And a pointless night, the Rebels' disappointing rugby union debut. Good evening, Tamara Oudyn with ABC News Victoria. Less than 3 months after returning John Brumby as their local state member, the people of Broadmeadows were back at the polls today. After losing government, Mr Brumby quit and Labor's national executive brought in Frank Maguire to contest the seat. Now it's for the voters to decide who represents them. They've got 9 candidates to choose from and the polls closed a little over an hour ago. Our reporter Nick Parkin is in Broadmeadows and he joins me now. So Nick, is Frank Maguire heading for the expected easy win?
Well, good evening, Tamara. Yes, well, most people, including the experts, are saying that Frank Maguire has this seat in the bag. As you can probably see behind me, there's a few supporters here getting ready for what seems to be some celebrations this evening. You have to remember that Broadmeadows is one of the safest Labor seats in the state, and with the Liberal Party choosing not to field a candidate here, you could actually call this a bit of a one-horse race. But still, to be fair, Frank Maguire has not taken the campaign lightly. He was out all day today at polling booths campaigning, just like all the other candidates.
The political bookies might be calling Frank Maguire a sure bet to win, but he's not taking anything for granted.
And Nick Parkin's still with us. Nick, have we got any early indication about how Frank Maguire is faring?
Well, surprisingly, no, we don't. Polling booths closed at 6 o'clock tonight and counting is underway, but we haven't heard anything from the Victorian Electoral Commission as yet. And speaking to Labor strategists here, they haven't heard anything yet either. So hopefully we'll have some updates later in the bulletin. OK, we'll talk to you then. Thanks, Nick.
In other news, another boat carrying asylum seekers has been intercepted off Australia and is being taken to Christmas Island. If there are children among the 44 people on board, they'll add to the growing number waiting to be released into the community with their families. Refugee advocates say the government is making the move too slowly and they're demanding that processing be sped up. Tremors of rebellion are spreading across the Middle East. More than 70 people were injured during violent and bloody clashes in Bahrain. Thousands of people marched through the streets defying government bans as they mourned the deaths of 4 protesters killed this week. Western leaders, including the US President, have voiced their concern over the escalating violence. And senior officials from around the world will gather in Brussels next week to discuss the growing unrest. Here's Middle East correspondent Ben Knight. The United States has vetoed a draft resolution in the United Nations Security Council demanding Israel stop its settlement expansion. To Africa now, and for the first time in eastern Congo, a senior military officer is on trial for crimes against humanity. A mobile court has been hearing evidence from more than 60 women who were allegedly attacked in retaliation for the shooting of a soldier. The military tribunal is now preparing to hand down its judgment over charges of mass rape. Africa correspondent Ginny Stein is in Baraka. 2 men are dead after a fight overnight at a property in the Gippsland town of Moe. Police believe both men were stabbed at a suburban home at around 12:30. Homicide detectives say they want to speak to a 36-year-old man called Richard De Vries about the killings.
If Mr De Vries is listening, we urge you to come forward. Either contact police on 000 or come to a police station.
Police say he may be carrying a weapon and that members of the public should not approach him. There's been another fatal accident where a toddler has died in a driveway. A 15-month-old boy was struck by a car in a shared driveway in Chirnside Park in Melbourne's Outer East at about 8 o'clock last night. Police say the driver of the car was not a family member. On Tuesday, a 16-month-old boy died in Melbourne's northwest when he was run over by a 4-wheel drive driven by his father. The West Australian town of Carnarvon is dealing with a flood emergency for the 3rd time in 2 months. Roads and bridges around the area have been cut off by rising waters from the Gascoyne River. But as the ABC's Andrew O'Connor reports, damage to property isn't as bad as in the earlier floods. Emergency surgery can be risky for anyone, but new research has found the death rate can be as high as 10% in elderly patients. A national gathering of anaesthetists has heard older patients need to be better prepared for operations and the possible after effects on their health and independence.
The high-fat diets and smoking habits of a bygone era are catching up with Australia's elderly residents. The associated health problems are making it harder for them to survive the rigours of surgery.
Surgery has become safer, but the people having operations are both older and particularly sicker.
In cricket, Victoria is struggling in its Sheffield Shield clash with New South Wales at the MCG. Phil Jakes added just one to his overnight score as the Blues amassed a first innings total of 416. In response, Victoria is 8 for 206 with Trent Copeland taking 4 wickets for the visitors. The Cricket World Cup gets underway tonight with Bangladesh playing India. Meanwhile, Brett Lee says Australia's fast bowlers can still be destructive in the tournament, even on the subcontinent's spin-friendly pitches. Duncan Huntsdale reports.
For locals champing at the bit, cricket's showpiece event is finally here, and it's here to stay with the decider not on until the 2nd of April.
To the weather now, and a band of rain associated with a low-pressure trough crossed the state overnight. All districts had rain in the 24 hours to 9 o'clock this morning. Today it was mostly cloudy in central and eastern areas, while the rain contracted to the east this afternoon. Some light showers persisted in the southwest. The passage of that trough has also resulted in strong winds in the Otways and in the Alpine region. The strongest gusts recorded were 139 kilometres an hour at Mount Hotham. Maximum temperatures today were up to 8 degrees below the February average in some parts of the state. Today's hotspot was Bairnsdale with a top of 33. In Melbourne, the temperature reached 25 degrees. In the city now, it's 24. Interstate, it was mostly sunny in Sydney and Brisbane. There were showers in Canberra. It rained in Hobart and showers cleared from Adelaide. The satellite image is showing thick cloud over the Northern Territory and the Kimberley. There's also cloud stretching across the interior and southeast in a trough and low, which is generating gusty rain. A weak cold front will cross Victoria tomorrow, while a high-pressure system forms over waters south of the Bight. There'll be heavy thundery showers over the Northern Territory thanks to ex-tropical cyclone Carlos and severe storms over Western Australia. The cooler southwesterly change will bring showers to southern Victoria and Tasmania. For the capitals tomorrow, there's a chance of showers for Perth and Sydney. They'll clear once again from Adelaide. There'll be late showers in Brisbane, and Canberra will be mostly sunny with a top of 24. Back home, we're expecting a cool to mild and partly cloudy day tomorrow with moderate to fresh southwesterly winds extending throughout. Any isolated showers will be mainly on or south of the ranges. There'll be strong winds right along the Victorian coastline on the Gippsland Lakes, Port Phillip and Western Port. And a moderate flood warning has been issued for the Ovens River. On the bays tomorrow, 15 to 25 knot westerlies will tend southwesterly and build to 30 knots around midday, then drop back slightly in the afternoon. Seas to 1.5 metres. It'll be cooler and cloudy in Melbourne with some isolated showers developing during the morning, then clearing later in the day, and we're heading for a top of 22 after an overnight low of 19. Looking ahead, Monday, a morning shower or two and 21. Tuesday, partly cloudy and 23. Wednesday and Thursday, mostly sunny and 24. Friday, mostly sunny and 25. And Saturday, some good weekend weather at last, a sunny 29 degrees. Now, before we go, let's return to the Broadmeadows by-election, and ABC reporter Nick Parkin joins me once again from the headquarters of Labor candidate Frank Maguire. So, Nick, is it officially a victory party yet?
Well, it's not yet, but we are starting to see some early results. I can say that about 3,000 votes have been counted, which is still under 10% of the votes, and Frank Maguire has got more than 50% of those votes, so it's looking very good for him at the moment. There is a bit of a fight for who will get second place. It seems like the DLP, the Greens, the Sex Party and the Independents are all polling equally there. Labor strategists here also have some word from their booths, and there's swings against them of up to 5%. But it's still very early days, but Frank Maguire looks like he will be the winning candidate.
Thanks for the update. And some supporters in the background there. And that's it for this evening's bulletin. ABC Local Radio, News 24 and online will keep you up to date with the counting in the Broadmeadows by-election. But we'll leave you for now with pictures from Queensland, where the people of Chinchilla are lifting their spirits after recent flooding at the town's Melon Festival. Good night.